G'day folks, and welcome back to the channel. Tonight I'm working on a little project. I'm looking to replace my timber back strop. The one I've got was glued up dodgy and I'm not happy with it, so I'm just gonna build another one to replace it. What I'm using is a old piece of lining board. This one I acquired out of my church. It was some material from a knockdown that we're doing. That's a lovely piece of timber. It's a piece of Tasmanian Myrtle. So it's a nice hardwood and it will last pretty much forever with the leather on it. So this is what we're going to do. First of all, I want to trim it up. As you can see, we've got the groove from the lining here. So I need to take that off. And also we've got a bit of a nail hole up here, a little bit of splitting and that sort of thing. So we'll trim that up first and then we'll start with the marking it out to size and cutting out what we need. Okay, and for just freehanding it, we've ended up with a pretty square cut, so I'm happy to rock and roll with that. Now I want to make the new one about 2 inches wide, so I just adjust the guard across. Two inches. Lock that into place, and I want to end up about 8 inches of strop and probably an extra inch on 12. That'll give me 5 inches. So we'll rip the width first and then I'll sketch it up. I mean, as per normal, the normal disclaimer, don't set everything up the way I've got it set up. Normally there's a guard over the top of a saw blade. I can't have it on there for the sake of filming, because if it was over there you wouldn't see anything. Alright, so we've got our piece ripped to 2 inches, and now we're gonna sketch up what we're after. Now 8 inches, 200 millimeters. That's going to be my strop. Then the handle, as I said, I'm going to come down another 5 inches. It's about 125 mil. Okay, I'll just mark a center line on the handle part. Okay, and then I'm just going to freehand in a handle. Okay, let's mirror that across to the other side. Something to that effect. We'll neaten it up as we cut it out and sand it off. Alright, so we'll go across to the bandsaw next and cut it to size. Okay, there we are, roughed in. Now across to the grinder, We're just going to use a 40 grip belt, nice coarse belt on it. I'll smooth it down once I've done the 40 grip, but I just want to get that handle shape right first. So across we go. Okay, we're just using the 40 grip belt here just to shape everything up, get it nice, consistent, get it fitting good in the hand. So yeah, 40 grip belt's a good one for it. It tears timber away pretty quickly. You don't want too high a speed or you're just going to burn it up. So yeah, 40 grip belt, fairly low speed. Now this had a varnish on one side of it, so just using the belt just to cut back, get past that varnish, and now I'm just doing a 45 on the edges of the handle just to make it a bit more comfortable to hold. So yeah, just 45 all the way around the handle edges, and just sort of smooth everything up. Just take any splinters, any rough parts that are left from the cutting off. Quick change over to 120 belt, just go over it again, same sort of deal, just smooth it out that little bit more. And I'm just going to leave it at the 120, I'm not going to take it any finer. It's a workman's tool. It's a little bit of coarseness in the grip is fine for me. Helps it be more positive to the grip. Whereas if I take it up to some sort of polish finish, it's not going to be any good, as it's just going to be a bit too slick in the hand. Okay, there we go. It's pretty much to the shape I want. So from here we'll take it inside and slap a bit of leather on it. Okay, here we are inside, and I'm going to use a piece of kangaroo hide for this. It's nice and thin, and I think it's going to work out just about perfectly for what we're after. Okay, we need a piece for each side. There we are, and 2 pieces. Next we need to glue that up. Alright, here we are all ready for glue up. Now I'm going to do the skin side down, flesh side up first. Now I'm just going to use one of my little leather sanders, and I just want to rough the skin up a bit. Just so the glue can get in a bit better. Okay. Now we're going to wipe both surfaces down with a little bit of rubbing alcohol. I do that generally before I clean anything, before I glue anything, just to make sure it's nice and clean. Okay, and the glue I'm using tonight is just some epoxy glue. I've got to glue up some knife handles anyway, so I've got some mixed up. And we just want to have a light skim. We want to end up with a flat surface. So we're putting it on very thinly and just skimming it out flat. go, a very thin coating. Just stick that down on there. Just flatten it in place. Now I'm going to put some weight on top of that to let it set up. This is a 24-hour setting glue. So we'll take it away, we'll put some weight on it and leave it to set, and then we'll come back and do the other side. Oh folks, there we are, we've glued overnight. You know, the glue's not 100% gone off yet. This is a 24-hour cure glue and it hasn't had 24 hours, but it's stuck on well, and we can move to the next stage and it'll cure while this one's setting up. So again, same procedure. Want to smear a nice thin coat, and it wants to be even. You don't want to give it lumps of glue underneath it. The big part about using these strops is an even surface. Okay, this time we're doing the skin side up, flesh side down. Just pressing any air out by hand. And again, I will clamp that up. To do it, I'm using my old one and just using that as a board, just so I can lay it across and put the clamps on it. So we'll clamp that up and let it set up. Okay, our glue's all set up, so back out of the grinder on that 120 belt again, and I'm just cutting off any glue overflow, just cutting off any spots where the leather's just lap the side a little bit, so just generally tidying it all up. This is make pretty work. It's as simple as that. I don't want leather overlapping the edges, and I don't want big lumps of glue hanging down the side because it looks ugly, and just because it's a tool it doesn't mean it should look ugly. Alright folks, there we go, all finished. Now of course, as with anything, the real question is it fit for purpose? So we start by putting some rouge on it. Now we'll take a while to develop a good level of rouge in there. Because the rouge block is pretty hard. And this is a white jeweler's rouge. So the rouge goes on the flesh side. And the skin side just stays plain. That's just for a final sort of stropping. Now this is mildly abrasive, so it will take a wee bit of metal off, just not a lot. And we have my ordinary everyday knife. My one's carbon steel, so as you can see it's got a fair bit of patina on it, which is what I love about carbon steel. And it's normally kept pretty sharp, and this is how I keep the edge on it. So as we use this, we're going to pack down those fibres in the leather, and it's just going to become more loaded up with the rouge, and the fibres better packed down over time. and just doing that will help to keep a nice edge on the blade. Alright, thank you very much everyone for watching. Please hit the like, hit the subscribe, and hit that little bell notification. These are little things, but they mean a lot to YouTube, which helps a small channel like mine grow along. And by all means, put a comment down the bottom. Again, I love to interact with everyone. I love to have a chat, so put a comment down the bottom. Again, thank you very much for watching, and bye for now.